is Win News.
Tonight, Wollongong to be grouped with Sydney and Newcastle in order to get state government funding. Should business owners get a say in local government elections? And a long-serving Shoalhaven police inspector calls it a day. Good evening, I'm Karen Johnston.
I'm Jeff Phillips. Also tonight, changes to Sunday penalty rates introduced.
And a helping hand for several Illawarra community and sporting groups.
A plan by the state government to lease public electrical poles and wires and use the money to fund infrastructure projects could see Wollongong no longer considered as a regional area. A community meeting today has revealed that to apply for funding, Wollongong has been grouped with Sydney and Newcastle, a proposal that has many fearing the city could be overlooked.
The government says a long-term lease of 49% of its poles and wires will reduce energy costs and see it pocket $20 billion to be used to fund infrastructure projects across the state. The tagline, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to rebuild New South Wales.
Projects like the F6 extension, which would benefit this region by providing easier access from Sydney to this region and from this region to Sydney.
But for some, the plan brings Wollongong too close to Sydney. Instead of being considered a regional area, the Wollongong LGA will be grouped with Sydney and Newcastle, vying for its share of $14 billion allocated for metropolitan New South Wales. The rest of the Illawarra and the South Coast will apply for their share in the remaining $6 billion set aside for regional areas, which makes up about 30% of the state's population. The state government is now calling for submissions, but the proposal already has Wollongong Council fearing the city will miss out.
We are part of the Illawarra. We should be considered in that pool in terms of the distribution of that money. But let me also say that if we are included with the metropolitan area, I know where most of the money is going to go.
Well, it's a very big concern. No one from our region thinks they're a southern suburb resident of Sydney.
It's not a done deal. The plan will be taken to next year's election.
People will be able to decide.
Submissions on the plan are being accepted until the 19th of September. Rob Morrison, Win News.
Wollongong councillors have called on the state government to axe plans for a compulsory business voting scheme in local government elections. But the Illawarra Business Chamber believes the proposed electoral overhaul is long overdue.
Under a state government plan, businesses in Sydney could be forced to vote in local government elections. It could be rolled out across the state. Wollongong flagged as the ideal candidate for reform, but not if the council has its way. All but two of Wollongong's councillors have vowed to rally against the plan, labelling it sleazy, smelly and wrong-headed.
Individual residents of Wollongong should participate in voting in Wollongong, not people who might have outside interests. People who perhaps have never even been to the city of Wollongong could get a vote under this proposal.
The changes are based on Melbourne's model for business voting. A business owner is entitled to 2 votes, as well as the landlord, in every council election.
You could be sitting in your house and have 1 vote. Next door, the person's there could have 4 votes. It's an entirely unjust system.
Business should not get extra votes or opportunities to influence or shape the way the council is formed.
Local Government Minister Paul Toole today confirmed the new model would not be implemented in Wollongong until it's proved successful.
What we would do is we would see how the process has worked in the 2016 local government elections before any decisions were made about its future.
The Illawarra Business Chamber doesn't support giving business owners 2 votes, but says the changes to the scheme are well overdue. Under the current model, business owners can choose to apply to vote. Participation rates are poor.
Businesses represent 30% of the revenue that council gets. So I think it's actually worthwhile them being able to vote and being able to vote easily.
Kira Ballinger, Win News.
A 48-year-old man has been charged following an alleged threat made to Wollongong hospital staff. Police will allege the 000 call was made by the man inside the facility yesterday morning. It forced the hospital into lockdown with hundreds of staff and patients evacuated. Half an hour later, people were able to return. The man has been charged with the use of carriage of service to threaten serious harm.
A decision by the Fair Work Commission to cut Sunday penalty rates by 25% has been upheld by the Federal Court. The decision, which has been in force since the 1st of July, had been challenged by the union United Voice.
From July